This PowerPoint will look to explain how insulin secretion is controlled by the pancreas. So the pancreas will release insulin when glucose levels are high, but how do the beta cells of the pancreas know when to secrete insulin? The yellow circle on the screen represents a beta cell of the islet of Langerhans. In the membrane of the cells you have protein channels which are represented by the red and blue boxes. The red boxes represent potassium channels and the blue boxes represent calcium channels. Now normally the potassium channels are open, which means that potassium ions are able to diffuse out of the beta cell. Now because positive potassium ions are leaving the cell, the outside of the cell becomes more positive than the inside. There is a charge difference created across the membrane. We say there is a potential difference across the membrane, and the size of the potential difference is minus 70 millivolts. Basically the outside is 70 millivolts more positive than the inside, or you could say the inside is 70 millivolts more negative than the outside. Right, when glucose is present, things change. When glucose is in high concentration, it will diffuse into the beta cell and be phosphorylated to produce ATP. The presence of ATP, causes the potassium channels to close. So now the potassium channels are shut. The potassium ions, which normally would move out of the cell, are unable to do so. So now these positive potassium ions are basically stuck in the cell. It actually reduces the potential difference, the charge difference across the membrane. It reduces it from minus 70 millivolts to minus 30 millivolts. Right, this change in charge affects the calcium ion channels. In fact, it triggers them to open. And when they open, the calcium ions will diffuse into the beta cell. The presence of calcium ions in the cell triggers the vesicles of insulin to move towards the membrane, fuse with it, and release the contents, the insulin molecules, into the bloodstream via the process of exocytosis.